Are you ready for a little Twitter tinfoil hat conspiracy time? Okay. I don't even think this is a massive hop, skip, and a jump. I am just saying, the last time I spoke on this very show about the prospect of N'Faly Dante returning to Oregon and getting a sixth year, I felt 60-40 confident he would get another year. Nothing has officially evolved on that front, except Eric Skopel, who has been on this show before, friend of the program, over at 24/7 Sports, tweeted out about Oregon women's basketball adding a transfer from Arizona, who before that was Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year, Salimatu Kuruma. I think I'm pronouncing that roughly correctly. Here's what Skopel tweeted out. Says she committed to Oregon in part to play at the same school as N'Faly Dante, who is also from Mali. Quote, I don't have any family here in the U.S., so he said, come here and we can be close and encourage each other to play better. Okay. First of all, Kelly Graves done some nice things in the transfer portal lately. Just throw the North Carolina transfer they got. They've brought in new players. They lost players from last year's team. They're resetting the roster. This is a nice addition. Doesn't this feel the entire tone and tenor of this particular quote? Doesn't this feel specifically present tense? I'll read it again. Quote, I don't have any family here in the U.S., so he said, come here and we can be close and encourage each other to play better. That sounds like the talk of a guy, as in that's her relaying what N'Faly Dante told her as to why she should come play for Oregon transferring from Arizona. That sounds like a guy who's pretty confident he's going to be putting on the Ducks uniform next year. Because if he wasn't going to be able to do that, I don't know why you would say that. Why would you indicate to a transfer portal prospect on the women's side, not on the men's side, but just doing a little, intra-university player recruiting here, which I'm all here for. Why would you be doing that if you weren't going to come back and play? And the answer, well, I don't know. I do not know. What I do know is I'm just trying to contain my excitement level seeing this sort of news. Look, is it tinfoil hat, conspiracy theory, reading between the lines, middle of May, off-season content? 10%. It is 10% all that. It's 90%. I feel pretty good that Dante is going to come back. And I tell you what, if and hopefully when that gets made official, like if he were going off to the NBA draft, if he were going to play professionally somewhere, you don't see Jermaine Couisnard giving any comments. Now, there isn't a connection there, of course, between Couisnard and, being from a foreign country and a player who's considering Oregon being from that same country. That's a unique situation. But that quote makes it seem like Dante is planning to be in Eugene next year. I don't know what else he'd be doing in Eugene because there is not an NBA team in Eugene. Last time I checked, I don't think the Blazers are going to take him, though. Just as a side note, he'd be the best defensive player the Blazers have had since Greg Oden. So, I don't think that's an exaggeration. Maybe Joel Prisbilla. But that might have even been before. Same time? I don't know. Anyway, I got sidetracked there. This is just adding fuel to my fire. I have been on the Oregon basketball hype train machine since the offseason moves started to roll in. And they have been really, really good. And there's just something about what is happening right now that makes me feel like the momentum is all there. Remember, this is a team that went to the round of 32, lost Jermaine Couisnard, maybe, but not assuredly, lost N'Faly Dante, and they're bringing back Nate Biddle. They're bringing back Keyshawn Bartholomew as long as he's healthy and doesn't suffer any setbacks. They're bringing back Jackson Shellstad. They're bringing back KJ Evans. They bring in Brandon Angel from Stanford. They bring in Raheem Moss from Toledo, who was a first-team All-MAC performer last year. That guy's going to be the backup. That's where this team is at. First team, All-Mid-American Conference, a real solid mid-major league, probably coming off the bench. Because they brought in TJ Bamba, which caught me off guard in the best way possible. And if Dante is back, I'm going to have to think of something exciting to do or different, or I'm going to have to come up with something to express in a physical manifestation how high my hopes would be for the men's basketball team if N'Faly Dante is coming back and he's starting at center. You're starting five in all likelihood. Jackson Shellstad, TJ Bamba, Brandon Angel, KJ Evans, and N'Faly Dante. Oh my goodness, as Vern Lundquist would say. That would be completely and utterly spectacular. But again, there has been no official news on the Dante front. I like this team with or without Dante in there. I like it a lot more with Dante in there. But if the NCAA does a Tez Walker situation, who was the wide receiver at North Carolina last year that couldn't get eligibility and no one understood why, and then he was granted eligibility, it was all just a big jumbled mess because, it's the NCAA. If that happens here with N'Faly Dante, my hopes are still going to be very high because Nate Biddle is a guy who can produce at a high level. If he's healthy and on the court, he can give you 15, 10, and 2 blocks and hit a couple of threes. Easy money. Doesn't even have to think about it. He's skilled in the low post. He can shoot the basketball. Solid athlete, good defender, and shot blocker. You have KJ Evans in there blocking shots as well. He was great at that last year, average a block a game as a true freshman. He's only going to get better. A lot of reasons to be excited, and I don't know to answer anyone's question in advance about when we'll find out about this. I don't think there is. I haven't seen any indication that there's a timeline or that there's a need either for Oregon to get it done by a certain date. I would think at least before July, which is 6 weeks away. I would think before then, at the very least, Oregon will know one way or the other, because July is when they officially sign the papers, cross the T's, dot the I's, and change the logos over to join the Big Ten. I can't imagine eligibility matters like this would still be getting sorted out. So I'm hanging on this news every day because at some point a decision's going to come down, and I just keep getting the sense that it's going to be good. And if it is, you are going to see a very, very excited version of me. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and go Ducks.